This is the Discover Seward County podcast, where we explore the people and places that make Seward County great.
Do this, yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you so much. This is so fun. I'd love to get a chance to. Catherine loves library. Charlotte is loving library now, kindergartner. How long have you been doing library?
This is my 21st year.
Okay.
And I taught third grade for 7 years. So do the math there. I'm into books, not the numbers.
Yeah.
But it's been a while. Yeah, it's been a while.
That's great. What got you into? I mean, I guess I should say, what was the transition from classroom teaching into the library?
Well, it was because our school was growing.
Gotcha.
And they needed so way back, I mean, when I taught third grade, we only had one media specialist for the whole district. And so library wasn't a specials. And so as the schools kept growing, Rule 10 states that you have to have so many per students, you have to have this many media specialists. And so Mrs. Dawes, worked really hard at like getting a media specialist, but also the school board and everyone to be able to hire another media specialist. And that's when we got to welcome, so at the time that's our bell, sorry. But we had, Marge Commendo was our media specialist for all of the buildings. And she even went to like the small towns and all over. Yeah. She has great stories. And then Julie Christensen joined the team. And then it just so happened that they were looking for a full-time elementary. And I was like, that sounds amazing. That would be so fun. I've always looked forward to like author visits and reading books and connecting books with kids. And that was my favorite part of when I was a classroom teacher, was talking with kids one-on-one. I always made sure to meet with kids one-on-one once a week to talk about what books they're reading, if they need help with finding new books, things like that. And I just thought, gosh, if I could do this more, I would. And I told Mrs. Dodds that at the time, our building principal. And she was like, well, but have you ever thought about getting your media endorsement? I was like, well, no, I didn't even realize that was a thing. And so then I jumped in.
Well, that's amazing.
I'm all in.
That's great. That's great. What is like a day in the life for a school librarian look like?
I come in and I turn on the lights and I have music playing in the background. I like to play like instrumental music, just kind of sets the tone. We get books set up for different, times of year, different themes. And then right away at the beginning of the morning is readathon. So as kids come in to the building, they can go to walkathon in the gym, or they can come to readathon in the library. And it's really just reading. Like you just come in and you just start your day off with just a book and just cozy time to just read. And I think it's really good for kids that would be overwhelmed with walking in the gym, being surrounded by a lot of other kids, just to have that slow start to the morning. So that's how it usually starts, is with readathon. And then I say, all right, it's 8:05, go make it a great day. Or I'll say, have a good day, but if you can't, don't you dare go messing up anybody else's, things like that. So yeah. Well,
that's great. So then as you have the different kids come through for their library special, what do those look like? I mean, I'm sure it has to be developmentally appropriate and all of that, but what does that look like from your perspective?
So I incorporate technology and then authors and illustrators and try and, I do an introduction to typing. So we do some keyboarding, we do some digital citizenship. And then like right now we're finishing up our Golden Sewer nominees, which is like, I describe it as like the Kids' Choice Award for kids in the state of Nebraska. So they'll read the 10 books and then be able to vote on which one is their favorite. I just try and alter. So it's with Golden Sewer, it's like hard to like we have to do that back to back. But after this, then I'll start getting into, okay, we're going to do a technology lesson. Then we'll do, maybe a different themed, book about like the season, or, like with September 11th that just passed, like with talking about things like that. So it's little special books or topics, then I kind of squeeze those in. So
yeah, how do the kids, I mean, do kids universally love library as much as mine do, or is it like a hit and miss? Is it or kids generally,
I like to think that they like it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really have anyone that says that they don't like it.
That's good.
So I like to think that, just by having that variety of being able to get on the computers, we have a program on the computers called Kid Picks where kids can, draw and create things on the computers too. So I like to think that by offering a mix of things and varying it up every week that they come, that they're going to have something new and different that will excite them and interest them. I don't want to just be interesting to one group of kids. I want to be interesting to lots of the kids. I mean, to all of the kids eventually, but like I want them all to be interested at some point.
Right. So, well, and I think the variety and the fact that like the setting, I can't. I mean, my youth, my library when I was in grade school, it looked nothing like this. This is so engaging and it's welcoming. And I think I just remember like a stodgy room with like some bookshelves, right? And I have vague recollections of wood paneling because that was just everywhere.
Yeah.
But like, just that it's so warm and it's so inviting and it is multimodal. You have different stuff going on. I'm curious. One of my weird niche subjects that I really am interested in and passionate about is actually literacy. And so I'm interested in the years you've been doing this, have you seen any kind of a marked change in youth literacy and how things change and or overall trends? Are those the same in Seward County or what are you seeing?
I think, there's
perfect timing.
Perfect timing. I think so graphic novels are huge right now. And obviously those are a little bit newer since you and I were kids.
Absolutely.
And so graphic novels are huge. And so getting kids to read those it's so easy to have those. I mean, they can't stay on the shelf.
Yeah.
They're constantly checked out and rechecked out, and we have hold lists and things like that. It's funny how like things change, like obviously with like where there's a lot of kids in this area that love the Chiefs. So we have books about the Chiefs players and Taylor Swift. And so like those things, it's like they want to know about those people. I try to have like a wide variety of books in here for lots of different demographics and then interests and things like that. So the farming books are always popular. We have tons of tractor books and 4-H and FFA, things like that. So, trying to think, has anything changed? Maybe so. Maybe kids want books that they see themselves in, and I think that that's really important to find those books that they see, hey, that's an aspect of my life, and I see that on the shelf. I tell the kids all the time, I'm like, whenever you see, I have little signs in the books that say, I'm new here, and I always say, I picked that book for someone in the school. See if, maybe that's you. And that type of thing, because I want them all to feel like, hey, there's someone, I just touched the microphone. Hopefully that is okay.
You're fine.
Like maybe she picked that book for me and, things like that. So
yeah, no, that's great. And I mean, it's a buzzword, but representation in media really does matter, right? It really can help connect. Not even just a kid, a person, but especially when they're young, if they can see something of their own experience mirrored in something, it helps draw more synaptic connections.
I had a kiddo last year that we read a book here in class, and she came up to me afterwards and she said, I'm so glad that you read that book because I think, Susie Q, I don't know whose name's that. I think that book was probably really important for Susie Q because her family looks like that at home.
Oh.
And it was like, that is really cool to hear that like a book that we read may have helped someone feel like, hey, I belong. Yeah. And my family belongs and, things like that. And we've read books that, about, different cultures and backgrounds, and then we learn about them. Well, it's really fun to research with them. And as they ask questions, like, I don't know the answer because I don't know everything, but let's look it up. Let's figure it out together. So.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and literature is it's a well-worn pathway to empathy and to knowledge, right?
Yes.
Like to experience something in a book. I was just talking to somebody the other day and they said, well, I'm getting back into reading and I'm starting with nonfiction because I have some, or I'm starting with fiction because I have some nonfiction stuff, but I just can't get there. And I'm like, dude, no second reading is wasted, right?
Absolutely.
Like I've learned more from nonfiction or from fiction books than I have from some nonfiction books that I've read.
And there's so many different types of reading. Like my husband's like, oh, I'm not a reader. I'm like, and he doesn't like to read books, but he's constantly reading the news. And that's why I tell the kids, I'm like, reading is not just books. It's reading the news. It's reading a blog post or a recipe, reading a cookbook. There's lots of different ways to read. And I love it when the kindergartners are like, but I don't know how to read. And I'm like, when we had McDonald's on the way out to Walmart, I said, and you drive by those two golden arches, what does that sign say? Like, McDonald's. I'm like, you read that. You read McDonald's. Like your brain, you read that logo. That means you're reading. So everyone's reading. You might be reading the back of a cereal box. That counts as reading. Things like that. So it's. I think maybe at some point people felt they had to be pigeonholed into like, oh, I'm only a reader if I go to the library and if I read books and but if there's lots of different ways to read, An ebook, that's reading. Audiobooks, that's reading.
Right.
Things like that. So
right, it's forming those connections and yeah, absolutely. No, I love that. I love that. Yeah. So I looked up some statistics on literacy, and I just want to run these by you and have you react. See if you think they're completely. As far as I know, these are accurate. As of about 2022. Okay. So I just want to see if this matches like with what you've seen, just because, like I said,
Seward.
Or just your broader experience. So the one is, because I think literacy in our country is slowly, and in some cases not slowly, going down, right? We're becoming less literate, generally, is what all the statistics have said. So the first one is 43% of U.S. fourth graders, that's where Seward Elementary cuts off, and then they head up to the middle school in fifth. So 43% of fourth graders scored at or above a proficient level in reading. Does that sort of match with what you have seen?
Or do you say we're higher?
Okay.
Yeah. I should know this off the top.
No.
But I think we're higher than that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
I think we're higher than that.
Yeah. Has all of your experience been in Seward?
Yes.
Okay,
I've
perfect.
only been here. Yep.
This one says nearly 70% of low-income fourth graders struggle with kind of basic reading skills. So from socioeconomic status can play an impact on literacy. Would you say that's true?
I would say that's probably accurate.
Why do you think that is?
I think socioeconomic status has something to do with it. Maybe like the time, just they're not as exposed to books as other families that do have time to sit down and read.
And disposable income too.
Exactly. Yes.
Matters.
Even access to the library.
Yes.
They might, even though the Seward Memorial Library is free, maybe they don't live near town where they can just walk to the library to get access to books, things like that. So that's what I would presume for them.
Yeah. Which I'm curious, as somebody who is in literature professionally, do any of those trends, have you seen kids less interested in books, or is the future bright that the kids are doing okay?
Well, it's a little bit of both.
Sure.
I think that the kids it's hard, so it's harder for them to find books that capture their attention for long periods of time, because this is totally just what I think that our society, we're so screens take up so much of our life, right? And I think attention spans have changed over time because just to be able to focus on reading a book, they haven't built up that stamina that they used to have. Years ago, kids had this long stamina of being able to sit down and read a book. Probably when you were a kid, there was drop everything and read, and you would stop, you would sit and you'd read, right? And I don't think that could happen as easily for as long periods of times like what we had when we were kids.
Correct.
Because that stamina hasn't been built up and developed and encouraged. Like, I mean, not only at school, but at home also.
Right. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
So what can in your so I have my 8-year-old, my 5-year-old, you both see them every week. So as a parent and to other parents, what is the best thing, in your opinion, that parents can do at home to help their kids develop that love of reading and that stamina, like you said?
I would say, take a book everywhere you go, everywhere, just in case case something happens, at least you'll have a book to read. Don't worry about the phone. Don't worry about an iPad. Take a book. So then if you, there's the monkey see, monkey do. If I see my parents reading, then there's a higher chance that they're going to be reading, right? Take a book everywhere you go. Then also, if you're starting to build up the stamina, don't sit there and think, oh, we have to do 20 minutes in that first try. 20 minutes is the long-term goal, right? Let's start with, let's sit here and let's read together for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
For a week. Just see if you can do 2 minutes for a week. Then the next week, bump it up to 5 minutes. Then bump it up, keep bumping it up until you get that 20-minute mark or 30-minute mark, whatever it is that you're trying to get to.
Yeah.
So then that way you are building up the stamina of reading and practicing sitting still and talking about, even if you're reading with your kids, talking about the characters, talking about, okay, what do you think could happen next? Things like that of where do we think the story could go? So things like that, I think would be helpful ways to build your stamina. And
that's great.
Setting the example of books, just going to the library and checking out books that you find interesting doesn't mean you're going to read them all. Just having them on the just having that accessibility, having them in even a shelf like this, and that's where you put your library books so that you see them. I think if they're tucked away, you're going to forget about it. But if you see it out, it's like, oh yeah, let's read this book. Or that even your kiddo might want to reach out and say, oh yeah, I'm in the middle of that chapter book. I should read that right now. Having it in front of us makes it a lot easier to say, okay, let's do this instead of this.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that was one of the things we did is when we moved to where we are now, we made the conscious decision to not have a TV upstairs. Oh. So the TV is just downstairs and sort of where we kind of hang out. Yes. But upstairs we have a big bookshelf, and it's just we just don't really have. And I know that doesn't work for everybody, but it really did work a lot for us because we noticed our kids when they were much younger than they are now, there was that and there was always a fight when the TV turned off because it's just the screens are such a quicker dopamine hit than the book is, right? Yes, the book is a long burn, but it's a much better and more sustainable dopamine high.
Absolutely.
And it's not just that quick shot.
Yeah.
How do you help a kid find the type of book or the type of literature that really speaks to them?
I like to get to know them a little bit. Tell me about, do you have any pets? What sports do you like to do? Are you in any clubs? Things like that. And then I'll just, so I have our chapter book section organized by genre. So I'll say, okay, do you like adventures, survival, mystery? Do you like fantasy? Do you like animal fiction? And usually if I can tell me about a good book that you've read recently. If they can tell me about that, I'll be oh, let's look at this one. And then we'll be able to pull off other books that are similar to it. So it's kind of like a real life Goodreads.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here I am. Let's go ahead and let's find something.
How do you do that at scale? Because I know not every kid will engage on that level, but I'm sure a lot will, because I used to work with kids, and if you show any level of interest in them, they tend to really engage. This person cares and they're interested. So how do you do that at scale?
During checkout time is a great time when that's when I can go over there and I have couches over there. I'll just sit there and be like, I'm here. If you want a book recommendation, let me know.
Yeah.
And sometimes that'll pull in some kids. Some kids, I found out that, there's a group of boys that the moms would tell me gosh, if we could just get them reading, and I'm looking at what they're doing on the weekends. They're going turkey hunting. They're going fishing. Gosh, there has to be a series out there about hunting or fishing, right? Mm-hmm. So I found one. I bought it. I brought it in, and I brought them over. And as soon as I had that series, hooked them. They were flying through that series.
Nice.
And so just trying to find like the little quirks that get them going, then I try and find books that they'll be able to take home and keep reading. So,
and I love that because we are in an age, right, where there is so many choices.
There's so many.
If you have a niche, there's probably a children's books, a kidlit series about it.
Oh, for sure. Yes. That opens up a whole other like can of worms. I am convinced. So, I mean, I should show you around the library, but our community is so supportive of children's literacy and getting authors to come to our schools and area schools that they fund these author visits to come into town. But the illustrators, they're plugging in things in the illustrations that when you sit and take your time and really enjoy the artwork, it's like, wow, they really thought this through to a whole different level. It's so captivating to me to learn those stories of behind the artwork and behind the books and things like that.
Yeah.
So.
I would love if you would be willing to show us around, but first I want to ask, what are you reading right now? Or what's the best thing you've read recently?
I have been reading, I read the Golden Sower chapter books. A lot of my reading is just reading the books that are here in the library because I want to be able to make connections with the kids and be able to make book recommendations. I forgot I don't know the study off the top of my head, but they say that if you want to find the most, a long time ago, they used to say that if you wanted to find the most beautiful artwork in the world, you had to go to museums. And now they're saying that today's artists are in children's books, that they're illustrations.
Yes, 100%.
And I'm like, as soon as I heard that, I'm like, that is totally spot on because this artwork is stunning.
Yes.
But I feel the same way about the work too, is that the books that are being made now are meaningful and reflective of our times. And I appreciate that because I don't feel like our students they're young people. It's not all fluffy unicorns, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they experience grief and trauma and sadness and happiness and excitement, just like you and I do.
Yes.
And now there's books to reflect that.
In some cases, the kids' version of those emotions are much sharper than ours because they have not been dulled, right, by whatever life that has, it tends to have that effect. It dulls the emotions. You get a little bit more desensitized to things. Great advice. Yeah, if you want to show us around, we'd love to see what you got in here.
So the books say E on the spine.
Sure.
And some people are like, oh, E is for easy, and it's not. E is for everyone. So like picture books, like there was a group of gals that here at the Seward Memorial Library that they prefer to get picture books because they're older and they're like, it's a lot easier to read a really good picture book than to go and get a chapter book and just be in it for a long time. So there's so many great picture books. So we have E is for everyone is what I always tell the kids. And then I have books in baskets and then tons of books. But there's Brian Lee's, our picture by Brian Lee's when he's the one that said practice makes you better. And then Tim Bowers was in 2022. I'm trying to be better about asking them to put the years on them because I get so excited when they're here. Ryan T. Higgins is the Penelope Rex and Mother Bruce.
I love his style.
He is so fun. These two were done on iPads, and so they used an app called Procreate, and you just take your Apple Pencil and you can draw on it, and then they can create their books that way. David Soman, he drew that on the iPad, but he doesn't do that for his books. I don't think he does. But he had a really great story about his sister I should try and grab one real quick and see if I can show it to you. It'd be funny if I could find it. But he and his sister had this like stuffed animal that was just god awful ugly. And so there it is right here. So he puts this character in every single one of his books. So if you go through all of his books, you're going to find that character hidden in one of his books. So now the kids know that and they go and they want to look for
that's so fun.
God awful ugly character. And he always, he laughs about it. And he's like, and I think it's fun. I'm like, this is awesome. Like, this is so fun. I think it's fantastic. But Ladybug Girl, and then we had Anna Dudney, Llama Llama.
Yes, of course.
Some of these are so sentimental to me because I'm like Anna Dudney is no longer with us now. She passed away.
That's correct.
And so I have a hard time covering that one up because she was so amazing. She was so cool. Ben Clanton, he did that narwhal and jelly for us. And then afterwards, he wrote us a thank you card. And then he even he mailed me a piece of artwork. And I was like, oh, I've got to put this in the library for the kids to see. Because it's just colored pencils.
Oh my gosh.
This is amazing.
How do you go about establishing the connections with all the authors to have them come visit?
That is through, it used to be called the Plum Creek Literacy Festival that Concordia University used to host.
Right.
They no longer are hosting Plum Creek Literacy Festival anymore. And a group of, after, they were not going to do it anymore, a group of people, including myself, we decided we want to keep the spirit alive and keep these opportunities for not only for our schools here in Seward, but for the area schools. And so we have a team of people that are on the committee, and we work to bring them in. Dylan Toit is our author liaison.
Okay.
So he has he talks to the authors and sets those up for us to be able to come into town. So
that's very cool.
So Tad Hill's over here, and then on this side, this is our chapter book section, and this is how they're all organized by the different genres. So if you have a kid that loves science fiction, then they can go to that section and they have that. It's easy.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make it easier to get into chapter books.
Yes.
And then R.W. Alley, and then Mo Willems. This was the year that I got hired. We had Mo Willems come to our school. And so I that's another one of those sentimental pieces that I'm like, I don't ever want to take Mo down because he doesn't do author visits anymore.
Really?
So, he's so famous. And so he's got so much going on. And then we have another Lauren Long. This was really cool because he started it as a tornado. So the nose of Obama, he was talking about a tornado and how it was going over the hills and the clouds. And then all of a sudden, and all of this had a story.
Oh, interesting.
And it had nothing to do with him at all. And then at the end, I was like, what just happened?
That's one of those, they see things, they see the world in different ways. Absolutely.
And Lauren, his new book, The School Bus. I think it's called The School Bus. I hope it's called The School Bus. But he had to get the story out of his mind and needed to see it. So he made a replica of the city with he made a sculpture in his studio.
That's so cool.
It looked like a little like a model train track type thing. It was like a little city.
Yeah.
It had his little bus and amazing. Billy Sears and Nick Brule, Tom Lichtenheld. He used to do pictures, just meet at a coffee shop in Chicago, and they would just draw the pictures out on napkins. And I thought that was fantastic.
That's fun.
And then Matthew Cordell, he came in November, and by January he earned the Caldecott Medal.
Oh wow!
For his book Wolf in the Snow. So he was able, because after he visited, we stayed in touch, and he was posting stuff on his Facebook about the experience, the behind the scenes of winning the Caldecott. And so I messaged him is it okay if I steal your pictures and put them into a slideshow?
Yeah.
So then I can talk about the Caldecott from your perspective. And he's like, yeah, go for it.
Sweet.
So we talk about the background of winning the Caldecott and what it's like, things like that. So it's really cool. So, and then we have more artwork over here in the library lab area. So Katie Yamasaki drew this, and that's her vision map of, she was teaching the kids to just draw things that make you happy. Daniel Kirk with Library Mouse, and then Frank Morrison.
Wow, that's cool.
He came during COVID, and he preferred to meet outside in the bus lane. So the whole school is sitting in the bus lane.
Yeah.
He had the whole school singing and laughing, and he was so much. We didn't have anything for him, a visual. It was just him and his microphone, right? And he had us rolling. And when we came into the library, he walked in and saw all the artwork. He's like, oh, I didn't draw anything. I want to draw something for your school. Can I draw something? I was like, yes.
Please.
So she drew that for our school.
Oh, I love it.
And then Robin Price Glasser, the illustrator of Fancy Nancy,
of course.
she is amazing. And her sister were here, and we had so much fun. Oh my gosh, we could have talked for hours. So much fun. Such a cool lady. Tim Bowers, Guy Francis, and then Guy also did this Blue Jay.
Oh, very nice.
Since we're the Blue Jays. So yeah, in the hallway, I could show you the hallway.
Yeah,
if you want to
let's do it.
The kids are working on a Tower of Books challenge where they're able to, I'll open the doors for you. So they're able to, as soon as they finish reading a library book, they can add a spine, a library spine, to their picture. So it looks like they're holding up this tower of books that they've read.
That's funny.
And so it's a 40-book challenge.
Bryson.
And so there's lots of
Marlo
different...
is Robbie's daughter. We interviewed
Yeah.
Marlo's
Oh,
dad.
did
He
you?
works for Nebraska Appleseed.
Oh, okay.
He's their legal director, so we get to chat
you
with
go.
him.
Yeah.
I don't
Marlo's a
Yeah.
goof.
But then, yeah, they all just strike their own pose, and then
That's
they
great.
read a book, and then they. So this year, I started it last year, and it took off this year.
Yeah.
I have so many posters. I'm like,
Oh,
okay.
Catherine's thrilled about,
my
like,
gosh.
she's
I couldn't believe it. I didn't think
gunning.
I thought, oh well, if I can get 10, 20 kids,
Yeah.
But-
Look at this. The hallway's lined with
it
them.
just keeps going.
I love it.
Yeah. And then out in the display cases, we have the first grade projects. If you want to
Oh,
see
yeah.
those too, I can show you those too.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
How are these organized?
Blue is 4th grade, and yellow is 3rd grade.
Okay.
And that is the only organization I did.
Yeah.
So we have
We'll
a
walk-
ton of 3rd graders.
We'll walk this way and I'll find Catherine.
Yeah. But yeah, it's been fun. Last year I said, it could be just any book that you read.
Sure.
And then this year I was like, let's do library books. And so now we're getting a lot more kids coming to the library to come check out new books. And
Oh, very nice.
Catherine's must be down the other way.
She must be down the other way. That's all right.
I don't have my keys, so if these doors lock, we're out of luck. Okay, so that one's more full. This one's not as full. But so let's see here. September, I invited 1st graders to take a book and do like a book review of
Oh,
it.
fun.
So they put like the main character on one side, the title with the author and illustrator on the other, supporting characters on one side, and then the other one is just like why they liked this book.
Oh, amazing.
And then what's going to happen is after, at the end of September, I'm going to have the office or like the specialists or like sped rooms, like anyone that is not a classroom teacher come and take a tissue box. So then the kids see that their
Yes.
projects are on display
Great.
in other places around. So October, we'll do the storybook pumpkin patch where they take a pumpkin face and make it look like a book character. But yeah, we try and do Thanksgiving. We'll do the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
I think was it last year or the year before Catherine and I did Gandalf because I had read The Hobbit to her.
Yes, I was like,
He was falling apart as we were bringing him into the school. I'm like, good luck, buddy.
But it looks so good.
It was fun.
Yeah, it looks so good. So yeah, so these are every month we do. Try and do something. Well, each grade level gets a month, and they do some sort of literacy-based project. So, yeah, there's some really fun projects. And this I love because like Mike came to our school last year, and so now we've got kids that are like excited about Mike Lowry, and so they're including the authors that have come to our school. Pretty fun.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
I love how it's connected. It's not just read a book. It's let's understand it and think critically about it.
I'm trying
And
to.
it's so good. It's so good.
And just like
You said, even just the presence of
Yes.
having books around and
Yes.
visual. I remember reading a study about that too that said like kids who just see books in a house are more likely to be readers later on.
exactly.
This episode of the Discover Seward County podcast was brought to you by Hughes Brothers, the Seward County Visitors Bureau, Union Bank and Trust, Pet Source, GBE, and Lincoln Premium Poultry.